I saw comments that were like, it went from, oh, that's a masterpiece, it should go in the museum because it's unique and this and that, and okay. And some others, they say, well, this guy is insane, he's mad, we should put him in an asylum. How can he dare to do things like that? That's disgusting, I want to throw up. But you know what? That's good. That's what I wanted. I knew I wanted to become a perfumer when I realized that actually this kind of job was existing. It's not something that has been provoked because I had some people from the industry around me, but more it was something like a conviction that I had inside me. And I've got like memories of smell of when I was really young, even more precise and accurate than some vision I might have, or like like places that I could remember just through my eyes. It's not that I'm smelling better than anybody else. It's just that my sensitivity for smell was better. Parents were both teachers in arts and architecture, and I was always in contact with this artistic world or atmosphere. I used to go very often into museum with them, even though I was not understanding anything. They tried to, teach me without, being too pushy. They let me, go my way. So it's also very open-minded, and sometimes you have to be artist to be open-minded like this. Otherwise, you want just to your son to become a banker or I don't know what kind of job that can bring money and security. And it was not the fact with them. They just wanted me to be happy and to be free. Through some magazines, I learned about this perfumer job, and I said to myself and to my parents, I would love to do this, it would be interesting. But they were completely, they had no clue how to become one, because it's a very specific world. At the time, in the 70s, 80s, it was really like a kind of very secretive. I realized that you had some school that, in Versailles, it was l'ICIPCA, where they were training not perfumers, only perfumers, but also evaluators or marketers or salespersons. But it was always, in the world of the perfumery. So at least it was the first step in, and it was the only way to get in this job. But I knew that to have a chance to get into this school, I had to become a chemist first. You have to have some degrees of chemistry. So I really studied just for that, just chemistry, even though I was not in love with it, I was not disliking it as well. But it's just that I really forced myself to do all the study to get into this school. But at the last session of evaluation, it was like some interviews with a group of people from the industry, and they did not take me. Just because it was like, I was shocked, because actually they were asking me questions that has nothing in common with the perfumery. Just like, I thought it was more like a way to see how I would react if I was destabilized or things like that. A little bit like, you can have like interviews like that when you do like some business school or things like that. And I was just here to tell them, hey guys, I just want to make fragrances. I love that. I would love to become one. And it was, I guess I did not answer the way they wanted. But the year after, I also reapplied. But at this time, I met a lot of people from the industry. I had contacts, I had names to mention. So I went into the same room, maybe with the same people, I don't know. And I just, after one or two sentences, I just told them I had the pleasure to meet some people, like renowned people from the industry, that I met with them. I had discussion with them. I went in their office. And so they stopped the interview. and it was done. So basically, they were not, selecting you because of what you had inside, but because of who I knew. So I thought that was okay. That's the way you select people, it's just because. But that's the world is made. I had 20 years old. I was so naive at the time. I didn't know how the world was working, and I was not shaped like some other people are shaped, to be strong and to know how the world works. I was in my cocoon with my parents that were artists and were like, a little bit like on another world, and sometimes not in the real world. It's not bad what I'm saying, just that for them, it's just that their world was about creativity and, and not about fighting to get power and recognition and money. So after the school, after my training, I spent 1.5 years, 2 years in Grasse, being trained. And actually, I was trained to become, I would say, a test killer perfumer. So I knew how to make fragrances, or how to build fragrances to try to make sure they will be performant in a consumer test. I was really, really happy for 5 years, 4 or 5 years, and it was really great. It was still, and I was also, I would say, leaning towards more niche brands or more artistic project, because I saw at the end that it was very restrictive, this consumer test, and in terms of creativity, it was reducing your palette and what you could use to be successful. And that gave me open my mind in terms of, that's really what I want to do. I want to work that way, not work for the industrial perfumery. But I had to, because I had a position, I was really well paid, and they just wanted me to, be profitable. And then it was the beginning of the end for me, because the structure of the company suddenly switched into something that would be just a financial instrument to just make a lot of money for shareholders. And it was just that. So no surprise, you will tell me, it's like this everywhere. But it's like this everywhere, but before it was not like that. And I did not, become a perfumer to work that way. I was at the time very, very angry and about the way the perfumery was getting into with these consumer tests. Then I think that it was maybe my biggest luck in this industry is that I got fired from Takasago for political reason. So at the beginning it's a shock because you don't know. It's like, wow, I've been there for 30 years. A lot of people are telling me you're a good perfumer, and suddenly you are just dumping me like a piece of you know what. But after reflection, it was exactly what I needed, because I said either I go back and I try to go back into this industry through another company, or I just try to do things on my own if I can have some partners with me. Step by step, I became an independent perfumer, and I can say like an artist perfumer or a creative perfumer compared to an industrial perfumer. So I was able to put on the market things that were very daring. They are polarizing. People, for example, on Sécrétion Magnifique, the purpose was actually, the idea or the concept behind was what's happening inside your body when you are falling in love or you are desiring somebody. The blood, sweat, saliva, adrenaline, very provocative and very daring. Somebody told me that it was one of the most commented fragrances on the internet, and I said, oh, okay. So I started to read, and I saw comments that were like, it went from, oh, that's a masterpiece, it should go in the museum because it's unique and this and that, and okay. And some others, they say, well, this guy is insane, He's mad. We should put him in an asylum. How can he dare to do things like that? That's disgusting. I want to throw up. But you know what? That's good. That's what I wanted. Because actually you're provoking emotions. You're provoking, like a reaction. And rien is the same. I decided to do this kind of cocktail that would be very noticeable and like that you could smell like 20 feet away, by putting every ingredient that is not that is blacklisted actually for this kind of consumer testing. When you're a perfumer, you know that, for example, if you want to be successful in a consumer test, if you use like overdose of galbanum, you're dead. You use overdose of leathery notes, you're dead. Of aldehydes, real aldehydes, you're dead. Of animalic note, you're dead. Like an overdose of patchouli, it's over. The rules, they are here to be broken, definitely. So that's what I try to do in my work. You can add rules, of course, for a certain perfumery, but not in my perfumery. What was, I think, very interesting to work with Carl on this brand is that he just came to me because of my reputation, and he was kind of a new beginner, I would say, and you just wanted to help him because he was just happy to work with you and just very respectful and starting from nothing, no help, no investors, nothing. I was really sensitive to this. He came to me and he said, well, I would like to do something around the fig. For me, it was, oh, that's great, because the fig structure has been so much used in perfumery for different things, for different reasons. And just to try to take this structure and try to do something new about it was kind of challenging. So you had to find the right signature without being too polarizing. So that was also the challenge. And I think that this approach on this fig collection, because now we just developed the second one, maybe they will have some. It's a kind of collection on the interpretation of the fig structure, like the figures that you are watching through different angles. I think it's very exciting. It's very, it's kind of new, because you're taking a theme that is quite common in the industry, but you are proposing different approaches. Clary fig. So, as always, when I'm working with a brand, I'm proposing different directions. But I remember that I did an association with clary sage and fig, plus some fresh spices like cardamom as well. I think it was giving a lot of energy, a sparkliness in a different way, and twisting the fig note and fig structure in a very surprising way. When I proposed that to Carl, he also really liked it, and so we worked on it. But the approach is something, I would say it's a very luminous, sparkling, radiant, aromatic fig structure, basically. The approach of Fig Nuit is an abstract conception, like a violet ripe fig that you are just opening like this, and it's very juicy. The colors are from black to purple to violet, with some orange touches. It's very evocative as well, sexually, in a way. So I wanted to reproduce this kind of feeling that I was seeing with an olfactive structure. To me, there is a lot of depth, a lot of sensuality. There is a juicy part, plummy. There are some spices as well. There is kind of harshness, so it's kind of also I added some things that would be like almost like a cedar woody, almost patchouli kind of things, because it was fitting also the color and everything. based on the evolution, I added also some Oris because it was working really well, and Carl agreed with that. And after also some Osmanthus. What I love about Osmanthus is that there is an apricot side mixed with a leathery, almost animalic way. And I thought that was also kind of it could fit this concept of dark fig in a way, you know. So I added as well, and there is quite an overdose of this accord of these ingredients in the fragrance, and it works extremely well. Very, very evocative of something that is dark, juicy, sensual. I'm just really proud and really happy the way we are working and we are developing with Carl on these fragrances, because I think the collaboration is really respectful and it's kind of easy in a way. And to me, I would say that of course the fragrances are, I think, great and fitting the concept and his brands the way he wanted. So I'm happy about that. But it's also, to me, the relation I have with Carl and with his brand that is very easy, and it's very important as well. I respect him and his vision as well. So also, this is what I cherish the most, I would say. It's almost like I have carte blanche in a way for every project, because I'm working with people that I respect, respecting my work. I'm a little bit a translator of emotion in a way. You know, the brand or the designer has his own emotion he wants to create, and but he doesn't have the right translator because he cannot do it himself. So he asking me to do this.